FS1 College Football is sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it. It's the regular season finale at McLean Stadium. 8th-ranked Baylor trying to go undefeated at home for the first time since 2013. The Texas Tech Red Raiders hope to have something to say about that. Welcome inside, everybody. Alongside Robert Smith, I'm Dan Hellie. And for Baylor, they are still very much alive for a Big 12 Conference Championship. Obviously going to be watching what's going on at Bedlam later today.
Yeah, they win this game today. Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State, and they're in the Big 12 Championship game. What a change from a 2-7 campaign a year ago.
And for Baylor, they are starting a redshirt freshman named Blake Shapen at quarterback. His first career start, filled in nicely for Gary Bohannon in relief last week.
Yeah, he certainly did. A lot of similarities. You see the same number. I think the style of play to guy who played quarterback here very recently in Charlie Brewer. You say he has that gunslinger mentality, but he's got to take care of the football today against this Tech defense. And then you've got Donovan Smith, only in his third start. Did well in his first start against Iowa State, struggled a week ago against Oklahoma State. And this is another guy going to have to be very careful. Pre-snap and post-snap, the Baylor defense can look very different. So Donovan Smith, again, has to take care of the ball on the road.
Speaking of those defenses, a couple of talented linebackers, Colin Schooler, Terrell Bernard, two of the very best the Big 12 has to offer.
Yeah, Colin Schooler, former Arizona linebacker. He's actually the active leader, not only in tackles, but tackles for loss for all players. And then you look at Terrell Bernard. We had a chance to sit down with him yesterday. Very cerebral guy like Dave Aranda, but don't let that fool you. You better buckle up your chin strap and be ready, because he's going to bring it.
The Red Raiders and the Bears here at McLean Stadium, a regular season finale. Baylor still very much alive for the conference championship. Texas Tech trying to get to 7 wins this season. Going to be a good one coming up in Waco. Welcome back to McLean Stadium. Dan Hellie alongside Robert Smith. The Baylor line with the students lining the field as the team runs out. One of the better sights in all of college football, and it is senior day here at Baylor. 22 seniors playing in their final game here at McLean Stadium. Certainly an emotional time for those gentlemen. And here is the interim head coach for Texas Tech, Sonny Cumbie, 1-2 as the interim head coach, and recently found out that he would be retained as the offensive coordinator, the first on-field hire as part of Joey McGuire's new staff.
Yeah, and Joey McGuire, a Texas high school coaching legend, and he came over from Baylor during the season this year. Sonny Cumbie, he said there's nobody that represents West Texas like Sonny Cumbie, and of course he was a great quarterback for the Red Raiders and won a bowl game over Aaron Rodgers and Cal. And then we have Dave Aranda on the other side. And, you know, I think Terrell Bernard said it best. He said that Dave Aranda is unique. And, of course, we're going to get into that a lot later.
And we are underway. Trey Wolf's kick into the end zone for a touchback. And we're going to get our first look at this Baylor Bear offense led by quarterback Blake Shapen. He was 16 of 21 for 137 yards, filling in for Gary Bohannon last week, and he went down with that pulled hamstring, and the freshman looked good.
Yeah, he really did look good, and saw him take off and run a couple of times, kept the ball on some zone reads. I think he has to be careful. Same thing as Charlie Brewer before him, who had the concussions. You have to be careful and slide when you need to.
Going to keep it on the ground early with Abram Smith, and nothing going there. That Texas Tech defense with the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, Reggie Pearson, making that stop.
And we see this big, experienced offensive line. Got some transfers in there. Really have like 3 guys that had played center in that guard, center, and right guard spot. Of course, Tyquan Thornton, number 9, the guy to really watch on the outside for this Baylor Bear offense.
Shapen, first throw of the game, complete to Smith, has room out past the 35, picking up the first down for the Bears. He goes for 14.
Yeah, and Abram Smith just went over to become a running back during spring ball this past year. They said they were a little bit thin. They needed somebody over there. And he's the kind of guy, they say he's the toughest guy on the team. He talked to all the players. He's the toughest guy, former special teams player. They said if anybody's going to be able to make that transition, it's Abram Smith. And he has really elevated the level of play at all those players in that backfield.
Treston Ebner checking in for Smith. Ebner split wide left. Shapen looking up top. He's looking for Ebner. Ebner's open. He has it. Touchdown Bears. A 61-yard score.
Well, a tremendous play call. We talked about elevating the level of play of all the players in the backfield by bringing Abram Smith over there. Treston Ebner's one of those guys. They split him out, and what that does is it forces a matchup that Texas Tech did not want. Colin Schooler, great player. We talked about all of his accomplishments. He's not the guy you want in coverage, but they were really forced into that by Treston Ebner splitting out wide.
Ebner, the high school wide receiver, his 22nd catch of the season, his biggest to date. Baylor with the early lead at home. Oh, things already heating up here in Waco for the Bears. A 75-yard drive lasted just 3 plays and 1 minute and 18 seconds. Ended in a Treston Ebner touchdown catch. Blake Shapen having a nice start to his young career here at quarterback for Baylor.
Well, we'll see what Texas Tech does. If Baylor decides to go and empty again, they split Ebner out there like that. I'm guessing they're not going to leave Colin Schooler in man-to-man coverage against Ebner like that.
Noah Rauschenberg kicking it through the end zone, and we go from one young quarterback to another. Donovan Smith making his 3rd start for the Red Raiders, and it really has been mixed results. He's looked fantastic, and then last week really struggled in that game against Oklahoma State. Obviously shut out 23-0, not a whole lot going offensively.
Yeah, and played quite a bit earlier in the season against Oklahoma. Harry Colombi went out in that game, 17-22 in that one, but struggled against that Oklahoma State defense, but a lot of people have struggled against that Oklahoma State defense. Again, important for him to read post-snap what's going on with this Baylor defense.
And here is Roderick Thompson with some room up the middle, spinning out of a tackle and out past the 40-yard line. Ball's down. Baylor says they have it.
Oh, that thing popped out before he even got anywhere near the ground. That's a straight fumble.
And Mark Milton holding on to the ball for the Bears. A huge break for this Baylor defense. Here's another look.
Well, you see, does a nice job spinning right here. You come out of those spins, you have to be very careful in protecting the football. And what he didn't do there, got to get 2 hands on the ball in traffic. Cardinal sin for a running back. You have got to cover that thing up, especially when you're spinning. But when you get those extra defenders around you, you can't just have one hand on it because you have all types of players who are going to be raking from different directions.
Jaron McVay looked like he was the one who caused the fumble for Baylor. Just a massive turn of events here. Not the way the Red Raiders wanted to get started. And great field position for Blake Shapen and company. Keeping it on the ground here with Smith. And Smith might have picked up a yard, maybe 2, on the first run of this series. Team goal sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of that.
Well, for Texas Tech, you really have to contain that run game. We saw a pass game as well. Ebner got downfield pretty quickly, but they've got to protect Donovan Smith. Get a lot of different looks from Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator for Baylor. And then for Baylor, got to contain Donovan Smith.
Again, looking for Ebner. Has the matchup he wants. Shapen drops it in the bucket. Reggie Pearson in coverage. A gain of 31 yards for Ebner. Doesn't matter who's on him. So far, so good.
Well, you mentioned it. He's a former high school wide receiver, also played quarterback, linebacker, played just about every position. Obviously very athletic. They split him out and empty again, and they try it with a different matchup this time with Reggie Pearson. But a great job dropping that ball in there. Blake Shapen doing a tremendous job with his control.
2 catches, 92 yards for Ebner so far. Here's Smith, and he is corralled in the backfield right away. Eric Monroe. It's going to be a loss of 6 for the Bears.
Just a great job of that Texas Tech defense on that one. And really, this Texas Tech defense, the run defense in particular, has played much better as this season has gone on. Hugh Patterson, the defensive coordinator, done a tremendous job with those guys. And the key on that one, the penetration. They really saw where that ball was going, got penetration into the backfield, forced the bow, and a huge loss.
Ebner back in the game, flares out to the left. Shapen looking into the end zone, nothing going there. His first incompletion of the game.
And DeMarcus Fields in the coverage right there. We're going to see Rashad Williams as well, number 12. And Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, said Rashad Williams actually said to him during the week, hey, I want to cover Tyquan Thornton. I want to be that guy. That's just the kind of attitude he has. As you can see, it was Fields, who actually has more starts than anybody in that on the whole Red Raider team. 47 career starts coming into today.
Ebner again, moving out of the backfield, pass complete down to the 10-yard line. And not going to be enough as Tyquan Thornton hauls it in, and Rico Jeffers in coverage. On comes the field goal unit for Baylor. Looking to turn that turnover into points. Isaiah Hankins, a freshman from Little Rock.
He had a short miss against Oklahoma. See what he does here. Fortunately, it's a lot drier right now. The rain's not coming down.
This one from 28 yards out, and it is good. An early touchdown, an early turnover, and then a field goal from Baylor. Blake Shapen, the redshirt freshman quarterback, looking oh so good early for the Bears. Nobody in Baylor history has played in more games than Treston Ebner. Game number 59 today. And he came into this game, Robert Smith, with 139 receiving yards on the season. He has 92 receiving yards, and we're pretty early into this one.
Well, there's certainly something that they saw in the way that Texas Tech was playing their defense, forcing that matchup against Schooler earlier, but then you can see trying to change up the coverage. With Pearson later, he still wasn't able to cover him, so that's a matchup we're going to have to watch today. And that's the power of having a running back that can split out like that, because you do force matchups and give different looks to a defense when that running back can line up and you have that empty formation.
Head coach Dave Aranda certainly like what he has seen so far on both sides of the ball, and you have to credit offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes for Baylor for seeing something on tape that he thought would be a favorable matchup for his fifth-year senior running back, Treston Ebner. Now, Red Raiders, after that turnover, not going anywhere here. Terrell Bernard, we talked about him pregame, and that's why.
We talked about how cerebral Terrell Bernard is, and he recognizes what's coming so quickly, and that's what Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator, talked about. Like, this guy just knows, he studies film so much. Out of this formation, this is what they're likely to do. He saw it, triggered, made the play for a tackle for loss.
Flags flying, swinging it out to Taj Brooks. And goes airborne as he picks up a couple on 2nd and 14.
It's like somebody on that defensive line. A little bit of a jump there. Might be Ika. Nickname is Apu. That's his Polynesian nickname.
Offside, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's 2nd down.
Yeah, Wasiaki Ika. How about this little all-for-naught play?
You know, Ebner got caught in the air in one of those a couple of weeks ago. You guys got to be careful when you jump. Defenders are expecting that more and more. Once you get off the ground, you have no more power from your legs.
2nd and 8. Smith to the air, complete out to the 37-yard line. And that is to Travis Koontz, pickup of 11, first down, Red Raiders.
Yeah, and they missed having Koontz in the lineup a week ago. He was injured. Nice job here. Donovan Smith locating him, getting that ball. It was really pretty good coverage there from Petrie, but a nice delivery there from Donovan Smith. And he's just so big. And he's almost like a Cam Newton, 6'5", 230 pounds. Does a nice job standing up tall in the pocket there and delivering a strike.
Keeping it on the ground, bounces off one tackle out past the 40-yard line. Petrie among the Bears there on the stop.
That was Brooks on that one. And I don't know, Dave Aranda, you saw on that first carry on the fumble, that was a nice game. Watch this run attack, this Texas Tech Raider offense, powerful group. And this offensive line, a lot of players are transfers. They brought in a lot of new faces. And then on the outside, got some very talented wide receivers. And then that running back combination, Thompson and Brooks, can be deadly.
And Ezukama can run the ball as well. Spins out a tackle, breaks another one, and he steps out of bounds as he picks up 24 yards for Texas Tech.
The speed of Ezukama, you see him coming in motion here from the slot, getting to the edge. You see Brooks on the outside, throwing a nice block. Does a nice job trying to maintain his balance there, walk the tightrope, but looks like just got that foot kind of goes right there. There's that left foot that just kind of stepped in.
Man, he was close walking that tightrope on the sideline. They like to use Ezukama in that jet sweep roll. That's his 10th carry of the season. This time up the middle for Taj Brooks. And a gain of 11 gives the Red Raiders another first down. So they are marching right down the field here on the second possession after the first one ended in a fumble.
And a similar run to what we saw, just straight up the middle. And you see that front for Baylor, and they employ that 3-3-5, but getting some penetration into it from that Texas Tech run offense.
All right, Baylor player down. Back after this. Sonny Cumbie, the interim head coach here at Texas Tech, was a former walk-on quarterback, earned a scholarship, Holiday Bowl MVP, and he has come full circle, and he will be staying on staff next season. New head coach Joey McGuire saying this about Cumbie, one of the top offensive minds in the country. We're fortunate to have him remain on our staff here at Texas Tech. And there is a look at Sonny, bringing that pump jack mentality. Always working. West Texas to the core is Sonny Cumbie, and he would love nothing more than to see his offense find the end zone here, keeping it on the ground again with Taj Brooks. And Brooks down to around the 20-yard line. Brooks Miller to stop after the gain of 3.
You talk about the career of Sonny Cumbie there at Texas Tech, and Dave Aranda was actually there with him on that staff of Mike Leach. We talk about Dave Aranda being a unique guy. I would imagine he had some pretty interesting conversations with the Pirate, Mike Leach.
Yeah, those two don't seem to go hand in hand, but it worked out for 3 years. And Sonny Cumbie was a scout team quarterback. Those two have a relationship that dates back almost 20 years. 2nd and 7, Smith to the air, going left side in the end zone. And good coverage from Baylor. He was looking for J.J. Sparkman, but he was absolutely blanketed.
Yeah, and Donovan Smith, he's going to give Sparkman a chance. He has the height advantage on the outside, going to try and throw this ball up, but trying to go with a little back shoulder there, and Sparkman's really just got to try and turn a little bit earlier on that throw. But as you mentioned, really good coverage right there.
Yeah, Raleigh
he's getting an earful on the sideline from his receiver coach as well. But Tejada did a nice job covering him up on the outside.
First third down of the drive here for Texas Tech. 3rd and 7. Smith under pressure, can't escape the Baylor defense. It was Jalen Petrie and Johnson in there as well. That's going to be a loss of 7.
And it's not just the blitzes that you call, it's the way that the players execute it and the timing of it, the way that you disguise it, what you've shown on film. You want to give some different looks. So you bring Jalen Petrie from depth, and the offensive line doesn't account for him in the number count for the block, so he comes untouched to Donovan Smith.
And it will be Jonathan Garibay. The field goal attempt is good, and he remains perfect on the season. Does Garibay, 13 for 13 on the year. Sonny Cumbie's troops on the board. 10-3. Bears on top early here in Waco. Back in Waco, Baylor on top of Texas Tech 10-3 after a Red Raider field goal, 9-play, 47-yard drive.
Stormtrooper here.
Everybody needs a stormtrooper in the stands, Robert. Come on.
That was just kind of out of left field, right?
Trey Wolf kicking off to Treston Ebner. Ebner has had himself quite a game so far. Fields it at the 5 and then out to the 20-yard line. We've seen Blake Shapen at quarterback, and that's because Gary Bohannon, who had been the starting quarterback for Baylor, pulled a hamstring just before halftime last week against Kansas State. Shapen comes in a relief role and looked very good. There's a look at Bohannon. Both quarterbacks very tight, good friends. Bohannon has been very helpful, helping Blake get his first start. And it's an enviable position for the coaching staff here at Baylor to have two quality quarterbacks like this. Wow. The wood was laid there by Colin Schooler. You can see why he ranks top 25 all time in FBS history in tackles for loss after that smack.
Just the quick recognition does a nice job triggering on this play and making the big hit. The only thing he didn't do was knock the ball loose, but he has plenty of the forced fumbles, has 3 forced fumbles already this season.
Pistol formation. And Ebner on the ground on 2nd and 9. Picks up a couple, 3rd down coming up.
We talk once again about Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, and the job that he's done up front. They like to move those guys around, give different looks. They've done a really nice job on the interior, guard to guard, stopping the run today against Baylor.
There's a look at Patterson. 3rd-year tech from Utah State. Shapen flushed out of the pocket here. He can run. And he is going to be close. I think going to be shy of the first down marker. Picks up 5. Krishawn Merriweather coming in from his middle linebacker spot. So he will indeed be about 1.5 yards short of picking up the first.
Boy, nice job on that Tech defense. Again, on the back end, did a great job. And talked about Keith Patterson, and he talked about the number of players, 8 super seniors on that defense. It says a lot about what they believe in Keith Patterson as a defensive coordinator. You just hear it from those guys when they talk about him. They just love playing for him. He's really done well.
Oh, ball's down. Fry ended up coming up with it. A danger spot. He looked like he was waving it off, wanted everybody to keep clear, but it took kind of a funky bounce. Texas Tech very lucky.
Oh, very lucky there. And it's not raining right now, but we had a lot of rain earlier, and the ball can really take some strange bounces. Football's bouncing strange ways anyway, but it doesn't even look like he touched it. Might have been an illegal touch there.
That was very lucky for Texas Tech there that he was able to hop on that ball. And you're right. We thought it could be raining this entire game. All things considered, weather's not too bad. Little jet sweep action here to Geiger. Geiger with the stiff arm on Tejada.
Well, we saw Ezukama with the jet sweep earlier. This is something that Sonny Cumbie saw from this Baylor defense, thought that they could get some speed onto the edge and affect this Baylor defense, and it's worked well for them early.
One of the things this Baylor defense was very cognizant of was the running ability of Donovan Smith, the quarterback. You mentioned the size, 6'5", 230. They're going to keep it on the ground here with Brooks, who picks up the first down for Texas Tech. But they wanted to keep Smith in the pocket, not let him get out of the pocket and use his wheels, because you're not always going to be able to bring him down with one guy.
No, not at 6'5", 230 pounds. He does move extremely well, but this offensive line, Texas Tech, again, doing a good job. And this time they got onto the edge. Before we had seen them success right up the middle on the jet sweep. This time just off tackle.
Xavier White checking in at running back for Tech, and here's White, breaks a tackle out past the 47-yard line. Dylan Doyle on the stop after an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, and J.T. Woods came up from his safety spot trying to make the tackle in the backfield. Wasn't able to get there. Xavier White able to elude the tackle, pick up some good yardage.
And a first down here for White. Texas Tech running tempo, 5-yard gain. And for the second consecutive drive, Texas Tech moving the ball well on this Baylor defense.
Well, this is the shot zone a lot of times for our offensive coordinators. We've got a man-to-man matchup on Donovan Smith's right side. See if they want to take this shot.
Xavier White and Taj Brooks in at running back. White in motion. Going to keep it on the ground. Up the middle to about the 46-yard line. Going to go in the books as a 3-yard gain. Taj Brooks and Roderick Thompson been sharing time as the two primary running backs with Xavier White. Their best receiving threat out of the backfield. And there is a look at Taj Brooks, who's just built low to the ground, very powerful, probably been their most explosive back this season. 2nd and 7. And he isn't going anywhere. Terrell Bernard, his second big defensive play of the game, coming in with a quickness.
Boy, just so aggressive, and that speed that he has. And again, his recognition and his expectation of what play is coming based on the formation, based on the tendencies that he's studied throughout the course of the week. And again, coming late, timing that thing up perfectly so the offensive line doesn't have an opportunity to block him.
3rd and 10 for Donovan Smith. Looking to the right side. He's going to pull it down for a minute. Then looking over for McLean Mannix, and he sails it over his head. Looked for a minute like he was going to run, then he changed his mind.
Boy, if he recognizes this a little bit earlier, Mannix had a great opportunity to pick up a big gainer, just runs a little bit of a pivot route, comes back inside, then pivots back to the sideline. Donovan Smith recognizes that a little bit sooner. Just play catch on that one. You don't have to throw a dart, a laser. You don't have to throw some kind of fastball out there. Just get it on your man. Would have had a great game.
Austin McNamara, his first punt of the ball game, fair caught by Ebner. McNamara with a very busy day against Oklahoma State last week, a record-setting day with 8 punts of 50 yards or more. We talked about the Big 12 standings. Baylor is lurking, and they will be watching Bedlam later tonight in Stillwater. If Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma, it's Baylor and Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game.
Boy, and again, talk about this Oklahoma State defense. 3 out of the last 4 weeks, they have held offenses to under 150 total yards.
Bears keeping it on the ground. Abe Smith cutting it back up inside. Picks up 5. And He has had an incredible year in his first year at running back for the Bears. Has Abe Smith, was playing linebacker, was playing pretty well, and then in spring practice, Jeff Grimes said, I don't really have the running back I need on this side of the ball. Somebody said, Abe Smith used to play running back, and now here we are, 1,200 yards later, 6th leading rusher in the country. Shapen nearly picked off at the 15-yard line. It was Schooler who got a great jump on that ball.
Boy, dangerous throw right there. And again, we talked about some of the similarities. Charlie Brewer, you got to take care of the ball as a gunslinger.
Baylor jumps on top early. Texas Tech still very much in this ball game. End of the first quarter. Second quarter coming up from Waco. Back in Waco to start the second quarter here. 3rd and 5 for Blake Shapen and this Baylor offense. Quick pass over the middle is complete to Drake Dabney, and that's the first 3rd down conversion for either team so far today. Gain of 6.
Yeah, and Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, has talked about the way that Drake Dabney has really emerged as a talent, as a receiving threat. 3 touchdowns now total in his career.
Shapen 6 of 8, 117 yards with a touchdown pass to his running back, Treston Ebner. This is Abe Smith running into a wall of Red Raiders. He goes for 2. And that Red Raider defense that's held 7 of 11 opponents under 100 yards this year, led by Krishawn Merriweather on that play.
Yeah, nice job there from Abram Smith, though. Even though he had a lot of defenders on him, just kept those legs churning. You could see why they were so excited in such a short transition coming over from the linebacker spot.
Shapen to throw a little bit behind his receiver, Tyquan Thornton, but Thornton able to make the catch. Good hands there by the senior from Miami.
Oh, and we had a chance to sit down with Tyquan Thornton, and man, is he all wide receiver. Just a great young man. He's got a 5-year-old child, 11-month-old child, so he's mature, but he's got the confidence that every great wide receiver has. He said, who do you want covering you today? And he said, hey, honestly, I don't think anybody can cover me. Does a nice job extending his hands to make nice, clean catches.
Shapen with time. Shapen gonna run. He is taken down by Tony Bradford. I don't think he quite made it back to the line of scrimmage.
This Texas Tech secondary doing a nice job on this one. Nowhere for Blake Shapen to go, but a nice job, Blake Shapen. We talked about him having that gunslinger mentality, but know when to live to fight another day. Don't just take a shot down the field to take it, especially in this area of the field.
Just the 12th sack allowed by Baylor this season. That's the 8th fewest in FBS. All kinds of time. Good protection here for Shapen. Lets it go a little bit late. The diving catch by Tyquan Thornton, not able to haul it in.
See him doing a good job up front. Baylor giving Shapen all kinds of time, but the coverage has been good. And we talked about Rashad Williams. He's the one that said, the defensive coordinator, Keith Patterson for Texas Tech, said, hey, I want to be on Tyquan Thornton as much as I can today. He actually came out of coverage on that one, thought that Shapen might be running. Shapen had an opportunity, but just couldn't get it on Thornton.
3rd and 13. Shapen again, good time, pass complete. This is Ebner again, breaks a tackle out past the 50-yard line plus territory, and a first down for the Bears. A gain of 20 for Ebner. He is now over 100 receiving yards in the game.
Tremendous job once again by this Baylor Bear offensive line. Look at all that time for Shapen. He has an opportunity to wait for Ebner to come open. And again, it was Colin Schooler on coverage. You don't want to make a living having Colin Schooler covering Treston Ebner.
Ebner into the backfield, out of the pistol. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage. We do have a flag down. Tony Bradford on the stop for Tech.
Little extracurricular activity possibly here. A little bit of John going on.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 66. It's his first of the game. 15-yard penalty. It's second down.
And that's the center, Jacob Gall.
Boy, that's not a whole lot there. I don't know if something was said, but it looks like he just kind of smacks him a little bit on the shoulder. I've seen much worse, but they try and keep that out of the game.
So now it's 2nd and 24 for the Bears. Ebner remains in at running back. Going to run the option here. Shapen keeps it himself. Picks up 4. Now they're going to run Shapen. They're just not going to run him as much as they ran Bohannon. He's not built the same way. He's kind of a lookalike to Charlie Brewer. He also plays a lot like Zach Wilson, the former BYU quarterback. Jeff Grimes, of course, coming over from BYU, where he was Wilson's offensive coordinator, and he hooked those two up in the offseason, and they talked a lot. And you could see a lot of Wilson in Shapen over the season because he watched so much film for him. 3rd and 21.
Spoke to him.
Indeed. Again, dumping it off to his running back, who does his best to try to get back to the original line of scrimmage. But Ebner unable to do so after that costly penalty for Baylor.
Now you just try and pin him with a nice punt. About field position there. You get behind the chains, and that's why those unsportsmanlike penalties, coaches hate those dead ball type penalties like that. It's one thing if you're being aggressive, but just a silly little slap like that, maybe a bit of a questionable call, but it just puts your team behind the chains so far. Really tough to come out of a hole like that.
Isaac Power on to punt for Baylor. Fry deep again after he mishandled that punt. And going to go into the end zone, but we do have a flag down. Right there next to the punter.
Well, is it going to be running into the punter, or roughing the punter? If it's roughing, going to be an automatic first down. And just a 5-yard penalty.
We'll wait to find out from our referee, Brandon Cruz.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team number 82. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a touchback. It's first down, Texas Tech. Timeout on the field.
Nehemiah Martinez on the penalty. And here's another look, running into the punter. We'll get our first look here after the break.
No Oscar for you.
No, sir. Welcome back to Waco. A look at Texas Tech's running backs coach, DeAndre Smith, who really has his hands full because he's not just dealing with the running backs. He's dealing with Donovan Smith, his son, who's the starting quarterback for Tech, and under pressure right now from this Baylor defense. Is able to pick up a couple out to the 22-yard line, chased out of bounds by Garmin Randolph.
And they talk about the way that DeAndre Smith likes to give his son a little bit of a mouthful on the sideline sometimes, and his son's 6'5". DeAndre Smith, not the tallest guy in the world. He's got that Papa respect, though. That son's giving Papa that respect on the sideline. But this must be an incredible feeling for him to be on the same staff watching his son perform.
Keeping it on the ground here are the Red Raiders. And Xavier White picks his way out past the 25 for a gain of 6. Donovan Smith, the 3rd different starting quarterback for the Red Raiders this year. Tyler Shuck started the first 4. Henry Columbi came in and started the next 5. And then Donovan Smith here making his 3rd start, and they're trying to keep it on the ground. You can see the number of run plays far outnumbering the pass attempts for Donovan Smith here early.
See a lot of simulated pressure from Baylor.
3rd and 2. Smith just going to pull it and run after the flag was thrown. Looked like that Baylor defense got an early jump.
Looked like it was Ika again.
Offside, defense number 62. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Big man, number 62, got a little bit anxious again. Can't do that. You're over the ball like that. You're not listening to the count at all. Just watch that ball, wait for the snap. And I talked about the way that Baylor likes to use simulated pressure. They walk players up into the line of scrimmage, back them up, give a lot of different looks out of that 3-3-5 base.
Fresh set of downs here for Texas Tech. And flag is thrown. Hard collision there. Al Walcott coming in, as was Matt Jones.
It might have been a hold there.
It's first down.
It's Travis Coons, the tight end, called for the penalty. So back they go.
You're going to see Bernard again shoot the gap on that one and almost get another tackle for loss on Brooks.
Yeah, you look at this, almost looks like they could have called helmet to helmet there, but
there it is right there.
Here it comes.
And even though he's a runner, any helmet to helmet, when you use the crown of the helmet to initiate contact, they can call the targeting there. It looks pretty clear right there that that was initiated with the crown of the helmet. So unfortunately, that looks like that's going to be targeting. And again, because he's a runner, not a defenseless player, but it doesn't matter. You hit anybody, they don't have to be a defenseless player. If you hit them with the crown of the helmet, it will be targeting. But I'm not the rules expert, but I hear we do have one.
Indeed we do. Mike Pereira is with us now. Mike, what did you see, my friend?
Sometimes I feel like I'm not the expert either, by the way. But when we saw it live, the first thing we said was it looks like targeting to us. And you're so right, Robert, about attacking with the crown. This has to be the crown of the helmet. And you actually try to predict the guy that's getting hit and the one that does the hitting. And you see he gets into that head down position. So to me, it was a good stop by replay. And I do think it's targeting.
All right. So, Mike, I know in the NFL, at least it's a rule on the books as far as initiating the contact as a runner with the crown of the helmet. Is that the same thing with college? Can they be called? Because I've never seen it called. It may be in the rules, but I just never see it called.
It applies to both teams, so the runner and the tackler, but you're right, we very seldom ever see it. I mean, I've seen it called once or twice, but generally it's always the focus is on the tackler.
Baylor. As a result of there being fouls by both teams, the fouls will offset and will replay first down.
Wow.
At the previous spot, number 13 is disqualified by rule.
So Al Walcott is disqualified for targeting. He is a starting cornerback. So Mark Milton, who was the third corner for Baylor, going to move right into that role. Thank you, Mike Pereira. Move right into that role. Thank you, Mike Pereira. On target as always.
No pun intended.
No, there was no pun intended there.
And this is a real problem for Baylor. I already have a couple of safeties out, have a corner out, and Kalen Barnes are really thin in that secondary. See if Texas Tech's going to be able to take advantage of that.
Another jet sweep, 6 different ball carriers so far. This time it's McLean Mannix. So Mannix, the 7th different ball carrier of the game for the Red Raiders. And there is Mark Milton. Might actually be the best cover guy. Gotten a lot better the last couple of weeks in the secondary, but they are certainly going to miss Walcott. Smith to the air, blitz coming, ball's down. Baylor recovers. You could see it coming off the edge untouched, and Smith was absolutely crunched It was the corner blitz, Raleigh Tejada. Man, he was a missile coming off the edge. Tejada grabs the fumble as well. My goodness, what a huge play for the Bears.
Quarterbacks have to know where their danger spots are, and you see from the alignment of Tejada right there in the slot, you have to understand if you get the blitz coming from there, you've got to get rid of the football because the protection does not account for him. A young quarterback mistake right there, and that's just seeing the picture multiple times to understand where the threat may come from.
So it's interesting when you look at that play, Robert. Xavier White was clearly going out for a route, and he missed the corner blitz coming. In that situation, is the running back supposed to pick up the blitzer, or do you still continue with the route?
Well, sometimes that is the hot route. The hot route is sometimes it's the receiver that's lined up over the player that's blitzing. The quarterback needs to know when that player blitzes, they need to get the ball to that player that was covered by the blitzer.
So Abe Smith with the run for Baylor. It's the 20th straight game that Baylor has forced a turnover. And it's the second forced turnover of the half for the Bears. 2nd and 5 as they are in prime time position sitting here in the red zone. Here's Smith again, straight up the middle, inside the 10-yard line for the senior running back from Abilene.
Nice hard run, but it's that offensive line that does a great job really controlling that front. Texas Tech getting Abram Smith onto that second level untouched, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He is such a big physical back. Remember, Terrell Bernard told us he's the toughest guy in the team. You could see it right there.
And here he is again inside the 5-yard line. He picks up 5. Smith came into the game 6th in the nation in rushing yards, with just under 1,250 on the season. He's a 2-time All-State running back in high school. Was a contributor on defense, and then in the spring moved over to running back because Jeff Grimes said, you know what, we need a guy who can put his foot in the ground and go. And trying to do just that here inside the 5-yard line. And Colin Schooler among those there on the stop for Texas Tech.
Looks like Shapen could have walked into the end zone on that one if he kept it. Again, because you're thin at quarterback and Bohannon's banged up, maybe that's a automatic give, but if he's reading on the edge of the line of scrimmage right there, he keeps that when he hits his head on the goalpost, running it in.
3rd and goal. Abe Smith remains in the game. Here is Smith, head down and in. Abram Smith with his first touchdown of the game.
You can tell Abram Smith is a smart guy. He does the right thing and goes and gives love to the big guys up front. You can see a tremendous job, Grant Miller, at that right tackle spot, controlling, again, that defensive line, keeping all those defenders off of Abram Smith, just not filling quickly enough from that second level as he's able to power his way into the end zone.
Turnovers absolutely killing Texas Tech. 2 turnovers now, 10 Baylor points in this ball game. Welcome back. FS1 College Football, sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it. So another turnover from Texas Tech, resulting in points. This time a touchdown from Abe Smith, and it was all Abram Smith on that drive. 5 plays, 24 yards, and all 24 of those yards coming from Abe Smith, their workhorse running back.
Call that toting that rock. Keep feeding him.
Did a pretty good job right there. You can see why he's among the top 10 leading running backs in the country. How about this rivalry? Texas Tech and Baylor. It's all square. 39-39-1. Not going to be all square anymore after things are over here in Waco.
Well, young quarterbacks can make these mistakes sometimes. You're going to see the slot blitz is going to come here from Raleigh to Hada. Donovan Smith has got to get his eyes out here. Now, sometimes they're going to have that protection. The running back is going to block that blitz, block that slot blitz. But Donovan Smith has to know that if that's not going to get blocked up, he's got to get rid of that ball right away and try and hit the receiver.
Here's
that was in the
Geiger.
slot.
And a big chunk 22-yard gain for Kalen Geiger. And again, 6 different ball carriers, 7 different ball carriers.
And hitting those edges again. That's something that Sonny Cumbie obviously saw coming into this week, that they'd have those opportunities.
Smith swings it out to his running back, Taj Brooks. Brooks out to the 45-yard line before he's taken out of bounds by J.T. Woods. Going to be about 3 yards shy of the first. And the Big 12 title berth on the line. Of course, they need a little help. They need Oklahoma State to beat the Sooners in Bedlam a little bit later today. Of course, a win over Oklahoma already in Baylor's back pocket. So there's a lot on the line here in Waco. 2nd and 3 for Texas Tech. Here's Brooks, a little stutter step, and he gets right to the line to gain. Dylan Doyle. One goes on the stop. Going to keep it on the ground again on 3rd down, and Brooks picks up the first for the Red Raiders.
Do a nice job going with the tempo there, and Brooks understanding where the chains are. No dancing on that. Make sure that you get the yardage, and again, nice job by this Texas Tech front. They've really done a nice job for the most part in their run blocking today. And I like the way that Sonny Cumbie is really mixing things up. You see them trying to hit the edges with the jet sweep action. They're throwing the ball to the edges and then running it right up the middle. See when they're going to take that shot with the play action.
Smith going to the air, just his 5th pass of the game. Double coverage, unable to squeeze it in there. It was J.J. Sparkman. Coming up, it's the State Farm Halftime Show with Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Coach Chris Peterson. Bringing you up to speed on what's going on around the land in college football. And there are a lot of big games in the final week of the regular season. Xavier White in at running back. Smith rolling to his left, rolling to his right rather, throws back to his left. Zeke Brown on the tackle of White after a gain of 1. So 3rd and 9 coming up.
Nice job by Zeke Brown on this play. You're going to see him in zone coverage at the top of your screen. Just sitting, waiting, and then he eludes the block. TJ Storment, big left tackle for Texas Tech. Nice play design right there, but he was able to get around him and make the play.
Brown, the walk-on who was put on scholarship in August of last year. 3rd and 9. Going up top, again in double coverage, going up and trying to make the catch is Geiger. He hauls it in. What a tremendous individual effort by the senior from Fort Worth. A 31-yard gain.
And an excellent throw from Donovan Smith, trusting his receiver Geiger, putting it up in that spot where his guy can get an opportunity to go up and get it. Look at that. 2 defenders on him. But he has the advantage. The offensive player always has the advantage in a situation like that. With that kind of throw, to get the eyes back on the quarterback and time that jump properly, that's what Geiger did there.
Biggest gain of the day for Texas Tech. First and goal from the 10, keeping it on the ground, head down and into the end zone. Taj Brooks, tough running for Texas Tech. Jaron McVay able to make the stop. They're saying he was down before he gets into the end zone. I'm sure they'll take a peek at this.
Boy, this is going to be an interesting replay right here. It looked like McVay is the one that Brooks trucks here as he's getting ready to go into the end zone. Oh, no, I think that's going to be a touchdown. I was looking at that knee comes down before he gets the ball over the goal line.
Looked like he was in to me. Rick Lumiere, our replay official, looking at this as we speak. I'll tell you the result on the other side. So Taj Brooks ruled down at the 1-yard line. Going to be second and goal for Texas Tech. Here's Brooks, and this time, no doubt, touchdown Red Raiders.
That Baylor defense expecting the run up the gut. Nice call from Sonny Cumbie, who, of course, is not just the interim head coach, but the offensive coordinator. Says we're going to get this thing onto the edge, and that's exactly what they do. You see all those defenders piled up on the inside. And he's able to get to the edge. McVay, again, was the one trying to make the stop. And this time, Brooks was able to get it in. May have gotten it in the first time.
Garbe on for the extra point. Best drive of the game for Texas Tech. 9 plays, 75 yards, ends in a touchdown.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, the stakes couldn't be any higher in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. It's Wisconsin primed for a run at the Big Ten Championship. Plus, we'll look ahead to tonight's huge Bedlam matchup in Stillwater. All that and more at the half. Right now, Dan and Robert, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. A look at an animated Sonny Cumbie, the interim head coach. Going to remain on this staff as the offensive coordinator. He is Texas Tech to the core. And here is Ebner. Great special teams play. Tackle made at the 10-yard line. And check out Sonny Cumbie. Losing his headset, making his way down there, getting everybody all pumped up. And
you said pumped up, just like the pump jack. I'm sure we'll get a shot of that on the sideline here. But, yeah, he was all fired up there. And I loved hearing from him just kind of the mechanics of game day and how taking over as the head coach, just all the different things that you have to think about. And that first weekend against Oklahoma had some troubles before half managing the clock, but he said it's really slowed down for him.
Keeping it on the ground. Here's Shapen, picks up a couple before he is chased out of bounds by Jalen Hutchings. And there's Cumbie. Got a good look at the pump jack there, a tradition that he started a couple of weeks ago. And he got it from his old high school coach, and it's here to stay. You know,
yeah, they dot the landscape there in West Texas in the oil industry. And he uses that.
Abram Smith putting his head down and initiating contact. And those who may be watching this game outside the state of Texas, what is a pump jack, you say? Well, it is a piece of oil machinery that is really the West Texas mentality. Always working.
Always working, rain or shine. We had the rain here earlier. That pump jack on the sideline, make it over the sideline after big plays, and they'll get pumping on that thing. And sometimes, you know, it takes a symbol like that to galvanize a team that's been through so much, like this Red Raider team this season.
Today, it's a big doubleheader on Fox. First at 4 Eastern, 14th ranked Wisconsin looking to punch their ticket to the Big Ten Championship as they take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Then it's Notre Dame taking on Stanford at 8. It's all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. What a great day of college football this holiday weekend. Student section here at Baylor. The better student sections in the country. And the Bears keep it on the ground again on 3rd and 2. And we have another timeout called by Texas Tech with 42 seconds to go.
Well, that was interesting. It looked like the initial spot was much friendlier for Baylor on that one. Kind of backed that spot up. Red Raider defense, again, doing a good job rallying to the football on this one. And so I thought as he spun out there, one of the officials on the sideline had given a spot that was very close to that first down marker.
So we're going to be looking at 4th and 1, 42 seconds to go. Texas Tech going to have one timeout to work with here.
Have one timeout and they get the ball in the second half, so in a good position right here.
Isaac Power on to punt. Fry again back to return. He's parked at his own 35-yard line. Booming punt drives Fry back to the 15. And he is tripped up. We do have a flag down. A tremendous kick by Power. Went for 64 yards. Here's a look at Baylor head coach Dave Aranda.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 82. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. It's first down, Texas Tech.
Well, that's not going to help. 64-yard punt, and then you get the block in the back right there.
It's Nehemiah Martinez. Called for the block in the back.
Boy, just what a weapon that is. To have a punter that can pound that thing 64 yards like that. And tremendous, especially in this situation where Texas Tech get a decent return, get a couple of plays, get out of bounds, and maybe even get into field goal position. Going to be tough here. You have to be careful coming out in this area of the field.
A lot of work to do with just 30 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like they'll be content to let that run down here as they keep it on the ground with Taj Brooks. Matt Jones on the stop, as was Gabe Hall. Clock winding down. The big story here in the first half, the 2 Texas Tech turnovers that turned into 10 Baylor points, and that's been the difference here in the first half. Sonny Cumbie able to rally his troops as they went down early. They get a touchdown here in the second quarter, and we have a 7-point ball game in this rivalry game here in Waco. Baylor still alive for the Big 12 championship game. Texas Tech looking for their first winning season in a long time. Let's send it to Mike Hill and the guys in the studio. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it. 17-10. Baylor on top of Texas Tech at halftime. And the big story in this one, all about the turnovers, really. The Baylor Bears have been able to take 2 turnovers and turn it into 10 points.
Yeah, no question about it. And that one we saw, Donovan Smith, obviously just in his 3rd start. Could have been a protection issue there. Not sure if the running back was supposed to pick that up or not, but Donovan Smith has to know where he's going to be exposed, get rid of that football. But I was impressed with this Texas Tech run offense. They did a really nice job in that first half, We saw the shots downfield to Ebner. We saw one to Geiger for Texas Tech. I wonder if for Texas Tech, if Ezukama and if Tyquan Thornton are going to get some deep ball opportunities in this second half.
That's a great point. Relatively quiet for both of them. Ebner, the leading receiver from the running back position, 4 catches, 118 yards, and that 61-yard touchdown. Baylor, of course, still alive to play in the Big 12 championship game. They must win today, and then they need Oklahoma State to beat Oklahoma in Stillwater later tonight.
And again, what a turnaround from a year ago. What a difference a year makes. 2-7 for the Baylor Bears last year. Many teams hit hard by COVID, maybe none so hard as Baylor. Not being able to practice, obviously having a lot of players out. But really tremendous job by Dave Aranda and his staff with what they've done this year.
And the ball over Geiger's head and through the end zone. So Texas Tech going to get the first bite of the offensive apple here in Waco with an opportunity to tie the ball game here. You know, last week, just a brutal game for this offense. 108 total yards, and they've already surpassed that output in the first half today, Robert.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State done a tremendous job defensively this year. Again, 3 out of the last 4 teams they played this season have had less than 150 yards of total offense, but a much better job today with his patience and seeing the field for Donovan Smith.
Taj Brooks stumbled forward for a gain of 3. Brooks, the leading rusher on the ground for this Texas Tech offense that had 111 yards on the ground in the first half. 7 different ball carriers. You don't see that every day. A lot of times 7 different pass catchers, but not always 7 different ball carriers.
Yeah, and that really showed what Sonny Cumbie was trying to do, get the ball on the edge with those jet sweeps, using those wide receivers in the run game.
Xavier White out of the backfield. That one complete. It's Geiger. Geiger makes a couple of people miss, and he's down to the 42-yard line before J.T. Woods wraps him up. A 30-yard gain for Kalen Geiger. Do have a flag down in the backfield right at the 25-yard line.
I was going to say, Donovan Smith did a nice job staying in the pocket because of the protection that he had. The ball was a little bit behind Geiger. Nice job snagging that thing out of the air. Going to be called back.
Unnecessary roughness. Offense number 51. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. It's second down.
Wow.
That's TJ Storm at the starting left tackle for Texas Tech, a 6th-year senior who has played at 5 different schools. A costly penalty for Sonny Cumbie's troops.
See Storm on that left-hand side. He's blocking Ika. It must be something after the play with an extra push. We've seen a little bit of that going on, a little chippiness. Those guys were pushing back and forth a couple of plays earlier, and he must have done something after that shot right there to warrant the penalty.
Yeah, you could see that they remained engaged after the ball left Smith's hands, and he also kind of acknowledged, my bad, guys. Let's go get it here on 2nd and 15. And Smith just tossing it out of bounds. He was corralled nicely there by that Baylor defense. It did not look like he had the opportunity to escape with his feet.
Well, just an absolute killer, though. You can say my bad all you want, but a penalty like that, just absolutely unnecessary, erases a huge gain from Kalen Geiger, backs you up in this situation, puts you behind the chains. Just a terrible position for them to be in to start this second half. An opportunity wasted.
Now looking at 3rd and 15, pressure coming on Smith. He shakes it off. He's going to use his feet. Not going to pick up the first down, but does get pretty close before Bryson Jackson makes the stop. 13-yard gain for Smith.
Yeah, and Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator for Baylor, talked about this, said, we have got to be able to get him down on 3rd down. They got a little bit high with their rush. Normally the rule is when you're rushing a quarterback that's that mobile, you don't want to get any greater than the depth of the quarterback, because that right there can happen. Donovan Smith takes off, but it was McVay that had the final hit and kept Donovan Smith from picking up that first down.
Here's Garbe, or McNamara rather. As we take a look here, I want to talk about the coaches and Dave Aranda, who has had a tremendous amount of success throughout his career as a defensive coordinator at Utah State and then to Wisconsin. And then he moves on to LSU, where he was the associate head coach and DC. Won a national championship in Baton Rouge and named the head coach here in January of 2020. And much like early in Matt Rule's career, rocky first season, just a 2-win season. And they are now on the cusp of 10 wins here in Waco, if they could pull this out. But it's been a tremendous second season for Dave Aranda here in Waco, and he seems to fit right in, Robert.
Yeah, he certainly does. On that last play right there, Blake Shapen had talked about offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes, who had been at BYU. Watch the arm angle here. You see the little side angle throw right there, reminiscent of what Zach Wilson was able to do for Grimes at BYU. And he mentioned that that's something that Shapen just does naturally.
Here's Ebner. Shapen, of course, a great baseball player, one of the better baseball players in the country, coming out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Top shortstop out there. You can see that little shortstop, that quick throw right there.
Came to Baylor playing both baseball and football, but has decided to focus solely on football here. Not easy to play two sports in this day and age on this level. Ebner, tough run, and picks up the first down for the Bears.
Yeah, School were able to bring him down on that one. Ebner just kept those legs churning and getting to the outside. Really the staple of this Baylor offense, that outside zone play. On those plays, you can either bounce it, burst it, or bend it. He was going more on the bounce right there, getting to the edge. And Schooler did a nice job bringing him down. Could have been a much bigger gain. And here we see Ebner again going out to leave it. But they've got Rashad Williams covering him now, not Schooler.
Complete to the 30-yard line to his tight end, Ben Sims. And Treston Ebner, the hardest working player, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. What a start to the game it was for Treston Ebner. My goodness.
Yeah, it certainly was. And again, it's film study. What are they going to do when they're in man-to-man? They're going to have Schooler on Treston Ebner. You line them up in the backfield and then split them out. They're able to get big gain there.
On the ground on 2nd and 5, more than enough to pick up the first is Abe Smith. An 11-yard gain. And that's his longest of the day.
Nice physical run, and here we see again to the outside. That's outside zone play. Excellent job up front. But then a nice job by Abram Smith really finishing the run. We talked about his physicalities. Terrell Bernard called him the toughest guy in the team. You can see that toughness on display.
First down from the 41. Shapen hit as he throws. The pressure was coming on Shapen. He was lucky that didn't get picked off. But Devin Drew bringing the heat.
Boy, missed opportunity right there, too, because Baldwin was running wide open down the middle of the field. I thought Shapen was trying to get it to him on that one. You could see him for 80 right in the middle of the field there.
Little jet sweep action to Drew Estrada. And how about Schooler? Saying, you want to meet me at the line of scrimmage? No problem.
Rashad Williams as well on the outside. Both of them playing physical. You see Schooler reacting, taking a good angle, but on the outside, Rashad Williams ducks under the block the right way, though. Understanding where the ball carrier was trying to go. He blows that thing up.
Estrada in motion. Working out of the slot over the middle. Looking for Estrada. Is he able to make the catch? Indeed he is.
Woo!
A tremendous sliding catch, a 10-yard gain for Drew Estrada.
And almost an interception. Pearson comes up from the safety spot, almost makes that pick.
And running tempo, another completion out to the 42-yard line. Here's another look. That's a 7-yard gain.
Watch Pearson break on that ball. Almost got to it, but Estrada able to make that catch. Had a big catch from Shapen in the game against Kansas State a week ago.
Shapen 13 of 18 so far in the game with that early 61-yard touchdown pass. He was looking for R.J. Snead there, a little bit off the mark. But you can't see the similarities that Jeff Grimes was talking to us about in terms of, he said, I hate to put it on him. Listen, Zach Wilson was a number 2 overall pick in the NFL, and he goes, and by no means do I mean to do that, but there are some similarities in their body type, in their skill set, and in the way that they throw the football. And Abe Smith doing what he's done all season long. Tough run and picks up 7. Another first down for the Bears. Reggie Pearson on the stop from his spur position for Texas Tech.
Nice inside zone play right there. Grant Miller does a nice job. The right guard coming across, clearing the way for Abram Smith, who's able to get up to Reggie Pearson there and get the first down.
First down on the Red Raider 34. Abe Smith staying in the game at running back. And here's Abe again. Head down to the 30-yard line. Tony Bradford wrapping him up for the Red Raiders.
What this Baylor offense is, really, we see zone run, zone run, zone run. Then they go play action, big shot. And we talked about the fact that Tyquan Thornton hasn't had that opportunity. Maybe this is it, man-to-man up on the top.
Thornton just 2 catches in the ball game for 14 yards, and there he is there, picking up the first down, another first down for Baylor. So moving the ball nicely here. 3rd catch of the game for Thornton. That one goes for 9.
And nothing too fancy. You're going to play off coverage like that, go ahead and give him the slant. You can see Thornton right there does a nice job securing the football, getting the first down. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, doing a nice job of remaining patient in this offense today.
Keeping it relatively simple for Blake Shapen in his first start, who showed tremendous poise. And Smith not going very far there. Jalen Hutchings on the stop for Texas Tech. And there's, look at the numbers for Shapen. 14 of 19, 189 yards. Nothing too crazy. He had that long touchdown pass early on to Treston Ebner. Certainly helped him out quite a bit, but you get the feeling that this offensive staff for Baylor has a lot of faith in this young quarterback.
Yeah, really said he hasn't been shaken by anything. And here we see Ebner again motioning out into empty.
Shapen, quick pass to the left side, nearly picked off. Again, lucky that wasn't intercepted. This time it was DeMarcus Fields.
Yeah, Fields, and this one just looked like a bad throw from Shapen here because he's trying to hit Sims. And Fields has leverage on the outside. That ball's got to be thrown to the inside. Just got a little bit wide with that throw. Shapen just needed to get that to the inside for Sims, who's also emerged as a dangerous pass-catching threat. Down here in the red zone, watch for him and Dabney.
3rd and 9 from the 22. Blitz coming on Shapen. Shapen chased by 4 different defenders. R.J. Snead unable to come down with it, makes a valiant attempt. And Tech was bringing the heat.
Well, they brought the heat, but Shapen really remained composed on this one. You're going to see him slide to his right to elude the pressure of Schooler and a host of other Raiders and just miss on the outside to R.J. Snead. Everybody covered up again downfield. Low and away, though, that's the place where you want to miss on a throw like that, as opposed to the throw to Sims that was almost thrown to DeMarcus Fields.
40-yard attempt for Isaiah Hankins. And it is no good, so you can see the celebration on the Texas Tech sideline. There is no give up in the Red Raiders here in Waco. Great lineage of quarterbacks at Texas Tech. Cliff Kingsbury, of course, head coach Graham Harrell, offensive coordinator, and then Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback on the planet today, MVP, Super Bowl champion.
Baker Mayfield was there for a time.
Indeed he was. Quick pass, swing it out to Ezekama. Haven't heard a lot from Eric Ezekama, their most dangerous receiver. But you mentioned earlier, perhaps he gets a little bit more involved here in the second half.
And they're finding ways to get him the ball. We saw a jet sweep in that first half, and defensive coordinator Ron Roberts for Baylor, he's not interested in having Eric Ezekama take the top off of this defense. So he's not leaving those quarterbacks exposed, especially with all the changeup they've had. Those guys are getting a lot of safety help.
Tech content to keep it on the ground again, but that was Garmin Randolph coming in to keep him from gaining a single yard.
Garmin Randolph, all kinds of length on the outside. 6'7", 265 pounds coming off the edge. Does a nice job wrapping and finishing on that tackle.
Third and 4 coming up. An important third down for Texas Tech. Baylor rushes 4. Smith looking downfield. Back in his own 10-yard line. We do have a flag down around the 30.
This pass is incomplete.
Going to be a hold.
There is a flag on the field.
See the indication down there?
Almost inevitable when you take that long. He was
Holding. Offense number 50. His penalty is declined. It's fourth down.
penalty called on Josh Berger, the Wofford transfer, one of the super seniors on this team. Here's another look.
I want you to keep an eye on Gabe Hall, lined up in the middle here. He does such a nice job on this play, fighting his way across, but anticipating where Donovan Smith is going to come back and cutting him off. That is smart football right there. And that's how you keep a quarterback from escaping and getting a 20-yard gain in a situation like that. They said he's really emerged. You can see some intelligent play right there.
McNamara's punt. Fair caught by Ebner. Still 17-10 in Waco. Bears offense coming up. Big doubleheader on Fox tomorrow on the NFL. Tom Brady and the Bucs taking on the Colts or other regional action. Then it's America's Game of the Week. Matthew Stafford and the Rams playing Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Doesn't get much bigger than that. All on Fox, the Fox Sports app. Check your local listings for games in your area.
Memory serves me correctly, the Packers lost to their rival up in Minneapolis.
Oh, you would be one to remember that, you former Viking, you. It has been an interesting season for your Minnesota Vikings. They've led every single game they've played by at least 7 points this season.
The only team in the league to do that. Turned it around, gotten it to 500, and in that playoff hunt. Looking good.
Speaking of 7 points, it's a 7-point Baylor lead at this point. 2nd and 8 here. The redshirt freshman, Blake Shapen. Running the option, pitches it out to Ebner, who spins out of a tackle, and then he is driven back to the 35-yard line. Going to go in the books as a 4-point game. Rayshad Williams and Schooler there defensively.
This is more like good old-fashioned speed option, and Shapen doesn't get very far up into the line of scrimmage to threaten on that one. If they're actually going to run a true option, which they may not want to, because again, because of the injury to Gary Bohannon, you don't have a lot of experience. Just Kyron Jones, a true freshman, behind Shapen. You don't want to have to get in a situation where he has to play.
Trying to turn the corner is Smith, and he does, to the 49-yard line. Finally pushed out of bounds after a 17-yard gain.
Well, we know he's big and that he has the power, and here you can see turning on the speed a little bit. You see those flat backs up front. Sometimes you want to go ahead and take a chance to get to the outside. Reggie Pearson, the safety, comes up to try and make the play. Can't get there because he had taken a bad angle. Misjudged Smith's speed on that one.
Smith actually stepped out of bounds at the 45, so that's where the ball is spotted. 78 yards on 18 carries for Smith. Shapen going to the air, and he's picked off. Dropped. Did he catch it and then drop it and then get it back? Question is, did he have that ball long enough to be called an interception?
Well, this is going to be interesting right here. And you can see, again, our guy, Rashad Williams, who said that he wanted to be in coverage on Tyquan Thornton, had his eyes on Blake Shapen that whole time. Shapen turns his head immediately to throw to Thornton, and Williams, he stepped out of bounds on that one. I think this is going to be very interesting because he secures this ball and then almost immediately steps out of bounds. So does he have possession of the ball in bounds?
So the ruling,
with the left foot.
The ruling on the field is interception, fumble, and then fumble recovery by Williams. So he takes a step. That's the out of bounds.
Yeah, that's clearly looks like an interception, and then he steps out of bounds. So the fumble's not going to come into play here because he steps out of bounds. So that play's over right there.
All right, so our referee Brandon Cruz has taken a look at it. Our rules expert Mike Pereira has already taken a look at it. Mike, what did you see on this one?
Well, I never stopped taking a look at it, but yeah, I really don't think you have an interception, period. I don't really think he had the ball long enough. And then if they stay with the interception.
Oh.
You know, there is a reason.
That's a rules expert right there.
That Mike Pereira has paid the big bucks to do what he does. There is a reason, and it is all well-deserved. Much like Deion Sanders' tweet to Mel Tucker about his new contract, I send my love out to Mike Pereira for your excellence at your job, my friend.
Thanks again, Mike.
So a break there for Baylor. Here's Ebner. Tries to hop over Schooler, but nothing going as Schooler wraps him up for no gain.
You can see why Colin Schooler is the active leader in the nation for tackles and tackles for loss. Very patient right there. Tristan Ebner's waist and midsection. A lot of tacklers get caught up and watching the head, watching the shoulder fakes. Just stay there, be patient, and secure the tackle.
Third and 10. Shapen over the middle, complete to Estrada, and that's a first down for the Bears. They absolutely love what the Dartmouth transfer has brought to this offense. Can do everything. Say they can line them up all over the field, and that time he picks up 24. This time keep it on the ground, and good defensive play there by Texas Tech. Eric Monroe coming in for the loss of 3.
See Monroe react. That front, really great penetration, which is going to kill a play like that because the running back needs to stop his feet. Loses that speed, loses that power, has to restart. They never give him a chance.
Shapen looking up the left side. That one complete at the 20. And Tyquan Thornton coming back to make that catch.
And this is
15. Sorry, Robert.
This is exactly what Tyquan Thornton said that he does to defensive backs. Make them think I'm going to go deep every time until I'm not. But you have to be able to drop your hips in order to make a cut like that. Start chopping the feet, drop the hips so that you can stop quickly, turn back around, work your way back to the football. That's also a great job of anticipating that route from Blake Shapen, getting that ball out quickly.
Schooler coming off the edge on Shapen. Shapen took a big hit on that last play from Jalen Hutchings. Big 300-pounder. And I love the way that Schooler gets to the football, man. He is such a threat defensively for Texas Tech.
He's just one of those guys. He just knows exactly where he needs to be and anticipates right there. You can see always dangerous when the quarterback has his back turned to the defense. And Schooler anticipating which way he's going to go. You know you're not going to be able to get there, but try and get those hands up and affect the throw.
2nd and 10 from the 19. Keeping on the ground again with Ebner. A gain of 5. Krishan Merriweather on the tackle for Texas Tech. So 3rd and 5 coming up. Shapen just cool as a cucumber, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And that's what Coach Aranda said about him as well. Just not affected by anything. Watch for Blake Sims here lined up in the slot, the big tight end, as a possible target.
It's Abram Smith down to the 10-yard line. Looks to be shy of the line to gain. So 4th down going to be coming up as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. We will see what Baylor decides to do here on 4th and short in the red zone. It remains a 7-point ball game here in Waco. This rivalry runs deep. It ain't over yet. (17-10), a quiet 3rd quarter, albeit dominated by Baylor. They've run 27 plays in the 3rd quarter, and that sets up this for Dave Aranda's crew. Going forward on 4th down with Abe Smith. And it's going to be close, but it does look like he picked it up on the 12th play of this drive to open up the 4th quarter. And the ball now on the 8-yard line for Baylor.
And how about that? They had Dylan Doyle, the linebacker, lined up in the backfield on that one as a lead blocker.
A lot of motion going on here for Baylor. Smith met right away. A slew of defenders there, led by Eric Monroe.
Once again, Blake Shapen, he hangs on to this. He hits his head on the goalpost. And again, it's hard to tell sometimes if he's actually reading or if this is a planned give. But he's just got all kinds of space. I just wonder if they're going to take that chance, because that's the 2nd time we've seen down in the red zone that Blake Shapen on a zone read type play. Now again, could be a design give where they don't have him reading, but he can do some damage if he hangs on to that.
On 2nd down, Shapen going to the end zone, has a man broken up at the last minute, and there he is, Rashad Williams. You mentioned it earlier. He requested to travel with Tyquan Thornton.
Nice play design here. You can see Williams gets in the trail position. This isn't a good throw, though, from Blake Shapen. He's got to get that ball up over the top. He can't throw that one short like that and give Williams an opportunity. He has to see where Williams is in coverage and understand if he gets that ball high, deep to the end zone, on top of Williams, and gives Thornton a chance to get it. That's 6.
Ebner at the top of your screen. Shapen looking to the right side. Being chased and just has to get rid of it on 3rd and goal. And Shapen running back out as he was chased by Devin Drew.
You can see Williams has an opportunity to get to that football in the first place because of the placement from Blake Shapen. But a nice job on that last one by Blake Shapen, just not forcing the ball, understanding that he needed to get rid of that thing. You can't, or you don't want to take a sack in that situation. Not the end of the world. Still get a field goal chance to get 3 on the board.
27-yard attempt for Isaiah Hankins. He's already made one, looking for his second field goal of the game, and it is good to give the Bears a 10-point lead over Texas Tech here in Waco in the fourth quarter. "16 plays, 69 yards, the longest scoring drive in terms of number of plays this season by Baylor. Results in a field goal. Dave Aranda's Crew now up by 10 here at home. And this game, crucial. Baylor must win to have a chance to play in the Big 12 championship game. Of course, they need an Oklahoma State win over the Sooners in Stillwater later tonight. Kick into the end zone, and Geiger content to take a knee. So the Tech offense, Donovan Smith, the chance to cut into the lead coming up. Welcome back to FS1 College Football, sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it. So a 16-play Baylor drive ends in a field goal. Now have a 10-point lead. A look at the two quarterbacks, a couple of redshirt freshmen. Blake Shapen certainly more active when it comes to throwing the football today. He's looked really good. And for Donovan Smith, just 10 pass attempts so far. Here in the fourth quarter, this offense needs to come alive, and he looks over the middle of the field, and that's going to help things. Ball's on the ground. Did he make the catch? That is the question.
It's going to be another one of those time and control issues. Did he possess the football long enough?
They're saying indeed he did. They're calling it a fumble on the field. If that holds, that will be the third turnover by this Texas Tech offense.
Well, and considering what happened with the Baylor play on the interception that almost was, it would certainly be unfortunate for Texas Tech if this one is ruled a catch and a fumble.
And here's Geiger.
I don't think he's holding it there long enough. I mean, if the other one wasn't long enough, I don't see how that one could be. Catches the ball and then dives towards the ground.
Oh, he makes a football move.
Well, and then the knee's down too. So
to me, that would be.
We're going to have to bring in Mike on this one, because it looks like he does secure the ball, but is he going to the ground? And if you have to secure the ball to go to the ground to complete a catch, can a ball that's knocked out before you get to the ground as you're trying to catch it be called a fumble?
So a couple of things to look at, Mike Pereira, here. Did he make the catch, and was the knee down? What did you see?
Yeah, I think the first aspect is it a catch. And to me, the difference is he makes a football move here, okay? He turns and goes upfield, all right? So that, to me, with that football move, qualifies it as a catch. And then is the shin down? And I do think the shin is down before the ball comes up. So there's your football move, lunging forward, and then you get that left shin down before the ball pops out. So I like it, at least watching this. It's Rick Lumiere who'll make this decision. He's had a good day so far, but to me, I kind of like this as a catch and down.
Yeah, you're right. Got a chance to talk with Rick Lumiere pregame, and it's the knee of J.T. Woods that's coming in and knocks the ball out of Geiger's hands, but it does look like that left shin was down before the ball came loose.
The play, the receiver caught the ball and his knee was down on the ground before the ball came out. Result of the play is a first down for Texas Tech.
So there you have it. Once again, Mike right on the money. And Texas Tech offensively lives to see another day.
And again, fortunate for them, considering what happened when they had an interception, or almost could have been an interception. That one turns into long drive for Baylor. Good for them to be able to keep this ball and keep this drive going.
Keeping on the ground with Taj Brooks, and he is unable to find the edge. It's J.T. Woods, this time making the tackle for the loss.
Blitz and replace. Even when they're bringing pressure, they do such a nice job of accounting for the space that's usually created when a blitz occurs. They bring Jalen Petrie off of the edge on that play, and the run is actually going in that direction. The blitz doesn't affect it, but we get a nice job, J.T. Woods filling that void and making the tackle.
Xavier White checking in at running back on 2nd and 11. Here's White with some room across the 50, trying to tiptoe along the sideline, and it looks like he stepped out of bounds right about the 48-yard line. It's going to go in the books as a 16-yard gain.
Using that speed to get to the edge, you can see a couple nice blocks on the outside, maybe Thorpe. A bit of a hold there, and that foot doesn't really look out there. Oh, that one right there is what it did. You have to take a look at the replay on this one to see where that foot goes out, because the heel is over the White, but it doesn't come down. You're going to need a better shot than that, but of course, we're not going to overturn it if there isn't clear and convincing evidence that he stayed in bounds.
Brooks back in. Smith to throw, and he squeezes it in. It is a complete pass to Travis Kuntz. 9-yard gain for Tech. Right back to the line. Smith to throw again. Has a man downfield. And Texas Tech finds the end zone. It's McLean Mannix back in the ball game after a 38-yard score.
Looks like J.T. Woods is going to get caught up on this one. You can see him right here. Just lets him run right by on that play. Just had his eyes. You talk about eye discipline, understanding the formation and what your responsibility is going to be. It looks like J.T. Woods is going to be guilty on that one. Had his eyes in the backfield and flat-footed. He should have had his eyes.
Extra point is good. The 38-yard touchdown, the longest play of the day for the Red Raiders. Ah, the pump jack in full effect. Always working. Now a 3-point ball game after Donovan Smith marches the Red Raiders down the field. He was a perfect 4 for 4 passing on the drive after completing just 5 passes in the 3 quarters prior. So the Red Raiders, bowl eligible with an interim head coach, always playing these tight ball games with Baylor as of late. Here's Ebner on the kick return, has some room to the 40-yard line and out to the 42. So Baylor going to be starting with great field position.
Well, on that last touchdown, communication so important, and you can see J.T. Woods is going to be in coverage. We've got Jalen Petrie also in the slot, but at home, sometimes communication can be just a little bit more difficult because of the noise. Sometimes the hand signals are used, but you have to be able to identify the formation. Had 2 receivers to that side. The number 2 receiver, that guy goes vertical. J.T. Woods has to know that he's there, but they had their eyes into the backfield, didn't communicate properly. Easy touchdown.
Shapen with plenty of time, complete to the 48-yard line. And the freshman helps him get 6 yards to Drake Dabney. So 2nd and 4 coming up. Look at the numbers there for Baylor. Creeping up on 100 yards is Abram Smith.
Got that opportunity for Thornton here lined up. He's got Williams lined up over him again, but no safety help.
Shapen looks right. Now he's pressure, a little bit late delivering that one. And he was looking for Drew Estrada.
DeMarcus Fields in the coverage there does a nice job. He would have been in position. He wants to take a shot downfield here, and protection's pretty good. You can see him trying to find somebody. Merriweather comes with pressure late. Shapen just tries to get rid of that ball to Estrada. Not able to make the grab.
3rd and 4, keeping it on the ground. And Texas Tech's going to hold a big 3rd down stop.
Boy, just huge at this point in the game for that Texas Tech defense once again to rise up. Stout along the interior. Just nowhere to go. Clogs that thing up. See if they're actually going to go for it or just try and draw this Raider defense off sides.
We'll see here on 4th and 3. Shapen lined up in the shotgun once again. Going to the air, over the middle, caught, and 1st down Baylor. R.J. Snead slow to get up, but he holds on and picks up the 1st.
Boy, and Shapen knew he was going to be taking one in the chops on this one, but just stood in there, anticipated where that throw needed to go, knew he was going to take the hit, but it didn't matter to him, and you could see right there Sean Merriweather bearing down on him, but he knew he had to get that ball to Snead, needed just a tick longer to deliver it. And a nice ball under pressure.
Again, chewing up clock, keeping it on the ground with Abe Smith. Hutchings on the stop. That's a pickup of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Well, that tells you everything that Dave Aranda thinks about his young quarterback, Blake Shapen. Putting the ball in his hands in a situation like that on 4th down where he's got to stand in there and make a throw, an accurate throw under pressure, obviously has a lot of confidence in him.
Shapen to the air again on 2nd and 7. This time it's Smith. And Smith picks up another Baylor 1st down. And you talk about the confidence the coaching staff, Dave Aranda, Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, having Blake Shapen. And Aranda said he really has this swagger to him. It's almost a Conor McGregor-like swagger. And when Grimes talks about him, he says, you know, when he plays, there's just there's a niftiness, there's a craftiness to him out there on the field.
Just a natural athlete. Anybody that's ever played sports knows people that are just natural athletes like that. Starts with the confidence, but the athletic ability to do just about anything.
Shapen again, going up top, looking for Thornton, and there's a flag. Rashad Williams was there in coverage, and they're calling.
Pass interference, defense number 12, 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Well, we're going to have to take another look at this one. Initially, it didn't look like too much. I mean, a little bit of hand fighting going back and forth. Oh, that's it right there. It was the shirt. Couldn't see that from my angle initially, but Rashad Williams reaches out and he gets that left hand on the T-shirt of Tyquan Thornton and just about rips it anytime they see that. Flag's coming out.
So puts the ball on the 22, and here's a little option to the left. This time it's Smith with room down to the 10-yard line, chased out of bounds by Gadrian Taylor-Demerson.
A little bit of a pause, a little hesitation counter type play. You're going to see them freeze just after the snap, and just that little bit of hesitation keeps the defenders from getting into the alley quickly enough. Abram Smith has the leverage to the outside. Nice pitch by Shapen. Get it to him quickly, outflank those defenders, and get some good yardage.
Look at Jeff Grimes, former offensive lineman at UTEP, done a nice job here at Baylor. Shapen on 1st down, pressured, and then just lets it go. A couple of guys there, Tyree Wilson being one of them for Texas Tech. Smart decision by Shapen. You know, the numbers aren't crazy. It's not too gaudy. 19 of 32, 248 yards, 1 touchdown, but I just love the kid's demeanor. Blake Shapen, nothing seems too big for him.
Again, the decision-making and the accuracy have been pretty good, and those are the two qualities that you start with when you're looking for a quarterback.
Again, keeping on the ground, so it's 3rd and goal coming up here. You know, the one thing that is interesting when we talk to Dave Aranda in regards to Blake Shapen is nice play there defensively by Texas Tech. He said he's never thrown an interception before, right? So we don't know how he reacts to that type of adversity in a game. It just hasn't happened yet. And it still hasn't happened.
Well, you need a quarterback with a short memory. It's one thing to have that swagger before you throw that pick.
3rd and goal. Here's Shapen into the end zone, and how about that swagger? Another touchdown pass for Shapen. Ben Sims on the receiving end of this one.
And this is Shapen understanding where he is on the field. Tight end so dangerous in that red zone. Little stop and go on that one. Eric Monroe stops his feet. But it's the nice high ball at the back of the end zone that you always want for the quarterbacks. Down near the goal line, gets that thing up to Sims for 6.
2nd catch of the game for Sims, 5th touchdown of the year. 27-17, Bears on top by 10. 7 minutes to go for Texas Tech to try to come back. And there is a look at Blake Shapen coming off a successful scoring drive. Thanks to his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. 10 plays, 58 yards, 4.5 minutes. In the 2nd half, Baylor has run 41 plays and gained 178 yards. Texas Tech run just 11 plays so far in the 2nd half. So in terms of time of possession, eating up that clock, the Bears doing their job. 10-point ball game. Texas Tech with a shot. 7 to go. We're back after this. Coming up, College Football Extra presented by Crypto.com. And this is a look at what has gone down so far today in Waco. The time of possession squarely on the side of Baylor. 32 minutes to just 21 for Texas Tech. There are 7 minutes left. And Tech down by 10. And that one broken up over the middle. Terrell Bernard is all over the field.
We talked about what a player this guy is. We've seen him in the backfield making plays, but here he is in coverage. Dangerous throw from Donovan Smith getting this ball underneath, and he's trying to work it to Ezukama. And this is how you have different ways of doubling guys. You don't just double them over the top. Sometimes you take a defender underneath and bracket that receiver.
And Smith dumps it off. Texas Tech. This is what they needed. They needed a big play. Here's Kuntz. He has room. Travis Kuntz trying to go the distance, and he does. Red Raider touchdown from 75 yards out.
What a play call by Sonny Cumbie, getting this ball just on the little short screen, and it's really the execution downfield. You can see the lineman, Dawson Deaton, from his center position getting on the outside, but it's Geiger that throws that last block that allows Kuntz to make it all the way into the end zone.
A 75-yard touchdown, the longest play allowed by Baylor this season. Talking about these games always being close. Last year, a last-minute field goal resulted in a Texas Tech win. The year before, Baylor won in double overtime by 3. These ones always go down to the wire, and it looks like that's going to be the case once again here in Waco. A 3-point ball game between the Bears and the Red Raiders. 6:40 of action to go. Don't go anywhere. Whoa, what a turn of events here in Waco. Travis Koontz with a 75-yard touchdown catch ties the longest Texas Tech play of the season and makes it a 3-point ball game here in Waco. The Red Raiders right back in this thing. These two always seeming to go down to the wire the last couple of years. This is Ebner trying to turn the corner, and he gets it out to the 30-yard line before he's driven out of bounds by Fields.
Beautiful play design here by Sonny Cumming. You're going to start off in trips. You're going to send the back into motion, so you're going into quads, and you've got Koontz, the tight end, lined up on the line of scrimmage. A beautiful execution on the tight end screen. He lets the blitzer go, and you get Dawson Deaton, the center, Josh Berger, the right guard, and Caleb Rogers, the right tackle, getting out in front of him. And we talked about it before, that last block by Geiger to spring him into the end zone. Just a tremendous play call and execution by that Red Raider offense.
Baylor keeping it on the ground. And Reggie Pearson doing a nice job coming from that spur spot to Summerine Smith.
Heat-seeking missile submarine in there, wasn't he? I mean, he shot his gun there from the second level of that defense. Recognition quickly getting through there, spiking, knifing through the line. Nice tackle.
Shapen is Smith on the option again. Nice big gain to the 45-yard line. He is popped out of bounds by Eric Monroe. Talking about submarining, he's a heat-seeking missile.
Hey, Eric Monroe says, okay, you're going to get a few yards out of this one, but you're going to pay for it. Yes, lower that helmet, but I'm going to try and do everything I can to knock that thing off of you on the way out of bounds. Showing up with bad intentions. That's great. Once again, Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, really changed the attitude of this Tech defense.
5:41 to go. Baylor going to try and eat up as much clock as they can. This time it's Ebner on the carry. Hutchins on the tackle after the gain of 3. And the clock still moving. Now at 5:18, 2nd and 7 coming up. Smith back in the game. Smith over 100 yards. He has 27 carries, 114 yards. It's his 8th 100-yard game of the season.
And this Tech defense has got to be getting tired. We talked about the number of plays Baylor ran in that third quarter.
Smith again, and you know what? Again, it's Pearson coming in there. Rico Jeffers there as well, but they are a very physical, attacking defense. They want to meet you right in the hole. They don't wait for you to get there. Talked about the time of possession, just dominated by the Bears. 18:54 to 5:40 here in the second half.
But as you mentioned it, though, still bringing it. People use that analogy with boxing all the time. Body blows, body blows, body blows. But the Red Raider defense still bringing it here into the fourth quarter.
This is a huge 3rd and 5 play. Shapen, plenty of time. Doesn't have anybody open, scrambling, going to use his feet. Puts his head down, and he is rocked at the line to gain by Rico Jeffers. And Shapen is still down on the Texas Tech sideline. He took a monstrous hit. Trying to get the first down, doesn't slide, puts his head down, and he certainly paid the price there.
Tyron Jones warming up on the sideline. We talked about the injury to Gary Bohannon and the fact that there wasn't a lot of experience behind him.
So Kyron Jones is a freshman. Here's another look at the hit here. Just right in the chest, right on the ball.
Yeah, and, you know, down on the ground like that, you know, you hate to speculate. You just hope getting hit on the ball like that, sometimes you can get the wind knocked out of you. You hope it's nothing more serious than that, and he looks like he's sitting up now, and maybe getting him up onto his feet here in a minute.
So the situation in terms of who comes in for the game for Shapen, he does look like he could be okay here. He is going to have to leave the game. So Kyron Drones, the true freshman quarterback from Shadow Creek High School, is going to have to come in for at least a play. So 4th and 1 is what they're going to be looking at, with Drones playing for the first time this year. So you keep the chains moving. You just bring in the freshman to hand the ball off here on 4th and 1. What do you think, Robert?
Absolutely, and it may just be quarterback keep. I don't know that you want to even try and get him with a true exchange, trying to hand the ball off in a situation like this. Just have him get the snap and run it himself. But it looks like they'll line up Abrams next to him and probably run some sort of inside zone play.
Baylor 2 for 2 on 4th downs today. They're going to keep it on the ground, and they're going to pick up the first.
Well, we had difference of opinions there. Referee on the far side of the field from the press box looked like he had it's that old left foot, right foot thing, but I think this is going to be a first down.
It does look like it.
Because it doesn't look like he had to get all the way to the 44-yard line to get the first down. And it looks like the ball is all the way onto the 44-yard line, at least judging by where the markers are on the sideline. It looked like he had more of it, to me, on the initial look.
I agree. They're bringing it out, the sticks out to measure here. And they got it by more than half of the length of a football. The stormtroopers are pumped. The students are pumped. Got some great mustaches there in the student section.
It's Movember, baby.
Indeed it is.
It's like Shapen's going back in there, and it's great to see. And again, a lot of times you get hit with the ball in your midsection like that, and it can scare the heck out of you. You can't breathe. It's something that they should tell every player when you first start playing. I thought I was going to die on national TV one time after I got the breath knocked out of me. Good to see him back on the field.
Ball on the 44-yard line. Just over 3.5 minutes to go here in the game. And this time it's Smith, no gain. Merriweather, first guy there for Texas Tech.
One time, I want to see him hang on to it. Now, that sounds like stupidity. Maybe that's why I'm standing up here and Coach Aranda and his staff are down there. But it seems like it's wide open. But after the hit that Shapen took on the sideline, they're probably not interested in him keeping the ball and running it a whole lot.
Maybe a little more hesitant after that hit.
Well, we've seen it down in the red zone a couple times today, that opportunity.
Shapen's run the ball 6 times for 14 yards. And timeout has been called by Abram Smith. Looks like he's a little banged up here after that last round. Look at the numbers for Abe Smith. Just a workmanlike effort for today for the guy who came in as the 6th leading rusher in the nation.
3.9 yards a carry. We call that a day of tough sledding, man. That's giving that work. I said they're resetting the play clock at 25 right there. But yeah, he came off onto the sideline there. But it's certainly, you know, for a guy that just was moved over to running back after the start of spring. There were about 9 days into spring practice when Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, reached out to Ron Roberts and asked if they had some guys available. What a move for Abram Smith.
2nd and 10, and here's your guy keeping it Shapen with some room and picks up the first down for the Bears. Did you know they were going to do that?
Is this booth bugged or what?
Good call, partner.
Well, I mean, it had been there all day long, and yeah, you want to protect your quarterback, but if they're going to overplay it that way, and you get a full first down like that at this point of the game, it forces Texas Tech to burn a timeout, which is what you want. You burn the clock at the end of the game here. You just got an easy first down on that one.
What a remarkable day for this young man. Blake Shapen from Shreveport, Louisiana, opens up with a 61-yard touchdown pass. His first career start, and he just comes out slinging, Robert.
Boy, just so impressive. We could see it against Kansas State a week ago, the poise that he showed going into that game. Now, in certain situations with certain players, it's better for them just to come off the sideline, not have prepared all week, not have had the pressure. But as we've talked about many times in the broadcast, Dave Aranda and the way that he has felt about Blake Shapen is that the guy isn't shaken by anything.
Game Day MVP sponsored by Indeed. To hire your small business MVP, you need Indeed. 257 yards, couple of touchdown passes, just picked up a huge first down with a 12-yard run that was his longest of the day. Again, going to keep it on the ground. This time it's Ebner trying to stay in bounds, and he is pushed out of bounds by Pearson after a gain of 12 and another Baylor first down.
And who do we have in the backfield? Dylan Doyle, the linebacker. He's so used to taking on those ISO and lead blocks from fullbacks. He said, let me get a little bit of that. He gets up there. Who's he blocking?
Schooler.
Colin Schooler. That's right.
Little linebacker on linebacker crime there.
Yes, sir.
Look at the play selection there. All runs.
Look at Doyle on the sideline, just loving it. Ron Roberts, defensive coordinator, calls him a coach on the field.
Ebner again kind of loses his footing and makes something out of nothing there. That was a nifty run. He picks up 4. Bradford on the stop, and Texas Tech going to take their second time out here.
Yeah, like what I saw from Ebner there. Nice job with the patience, nothing front side, works his way backside, but most importantly does what every running back has to do in this situation in the game, protect the football. Got 2 hands on it. Know that the defense has got to try and get it away from you. You've got to protect it.
Look at the Big 12 standings there. A win today, and Baylor, I don't know where they're going to be watching it. There's no team watch party or anything for the Oklahoma State game tonight, but Bedlam is going to be on every TV here in Waco if Baylor can pull this out to see if the Cowboys can knock off the Sooners, which would mean that Oklahoma State and Baylor will be playing in the Big 12 championship game.
Well, just tremendous for Baylor. And again, what they went through a season ago and the turmoil. I mean, you're talking about Matt Rule leaving a couple of years ago. You know, maybe here in the last couple of minutes we talk about that. All the attention that Dave Aranda has gotten from these big openings all across the country. These guys have fought through so much. Huge win here over Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. Now an opportunity for that Big 12 championship game.
Ebner on 2nd and 6. He's going to pick up about 3, so we're going to have our last Texas Tech timeout, and it's going to be 3rd and 3 coming up. As we look at an animated Sonny Cumbie, and there's Gary Bohannon. Will he be ready if Baylor moves on to the Big 12 championship game? Do you go with a hot Shapen? Do you go back to Bohannon? That's an interesting scenario for Baylor.
I don't know how interesting. I guess it's an interesting scenario. And again, maybe we up here, you know, we have a different view. We're not there every snap during training camp, during the course of the season. Now, a non-100% Gary Bohannon versus completely healthy Blake Shapen may be a different question, but if Bohannon is back and healthy, you think he would go back with him. But that's the thing about hamstrings. It can be very tricky, very difficult to heal. And in the warm-ups today, didn't even see him throwing the football. So I don't know how close he could possibly be after that injury.
3rd and 3. Here's Shapen going to keep it himself. And it doesn't look like he gets there. Rashad Williams coming in from that corner spot to make the tackle. And we're looking at 4th down.
Yeah, and once again, they're going to go with Shapen trying to run it here. It was a nice tackle. Get him down before the yard marker. Rashad Williams, we've talked about so much, covering Tyquan Thornton. Of course, they want to run as much clock as they can off here, but you have to go for the field goal here with no timeouts for Texas Tech. Just burn as much clock as you can.
And Baylor taking their first time. 3-point lead, field goal coming. We're back after this. So Baylor looking at 4th and 2, up by 3. Ball is right around the 10-yard line. They're 3 for 3 on 4th down conversions, and it looks like they're going to go for it here again on 4th down. So showing some confidence in that defense.
I'm glad we saw them walking to the field before we had a chance to say what we thought they should do. Because kick the field goal, of course. Go up 6 with no timeouts left, but they're going to try and finish it right here.
3 for 3 on 4th down conversions. Shapen, it's Schooler getting in there. It's a huge 4th down stop for Texas Tech. Over a minute to go, no timeouts. Lest I remind you, they had a 75-yard touchdown pass on their last drive, down by 3.
Well, such a dangerous play again on these boot-type actions where the quarterback has to turn his back to the defense and then gets his head around, and Colin Schooler right there. Boy, that's dangerous. I mean, that could have easily been picked off right there. I just don't know about that call. If you're going to get him in that situation, you got to coach him up on the sideline, expect that pressure, and to step underneath something like that. But, boy, tough situation. That's why I would have gone for 3.
Well, they have been aggressive all year on offense, and that RVO, that reliably violent offense of Jeff Grimes. And Dave Aranda likes to be aggressive as well. They're going to need some aggressive defense here to keep Texas Tech from marching down the field. First pass, first completion, and that's Ezekama hauling it in.
Well, that's a dangerous completion to make. You make that in the middle of the field like that, no opportunity to get out of bounds, no timeouts. You burn a lot of clock throwing it to the middle of the field.
Smith going to the sideline this time. And they're saying the catch is made.
No, they're saying he dropped it. That was Geiger over there on the sideline. Turned around just in time to see the ball from Donovan Smith. And tries to reach that hand out to make the grab. That thing just comes out before he
just leaked out.
Has an opportunity to make the catch.
2 for 6 on 3rd downs.
Yeah, the band's really helping out with the noise here too. In the closing seconds of the game.
Taj Brooks in at running back. Quick throw for Smith, completion, 1st down Texas Tech. It's Kuntz after that big 75-yard touchdown, picking up 12. Clock stops for a moment at 49 seconds.
And don't forget, you've got a field goal kicker for Texas Tech that's made a 62-yarder this season. What a catch.
Middle. Great catch by Kuntz.
That one looks like a 1st down, so they'll stop the clock as well.
He was absolutely blanketed in coverage, but Kuntz able to make the grab. 117 receiving yards for Kuntz. Smith flushed out and just gets rid of it. 30 seconds to go. 2nd down coming up.
Nice contested catch from Travis Kuntz, who again was out of the lineup against Oklahoma State a week ago. Look at that. He's got the defender draped all over him on that play. He's still able to use those strong hands and bring that thing in.
Jonathan Garibay, the kicker.
You need less than 15 yards to get into his range, technically here.
Has a 62-yard field goal against Iowa State earlier this year. Smith. Left side, catch is made and out of bounds. Terrell Bernard there on the tackle. It was White picking up 5.
Well, another thing to consider here, wet conditions. The ball's going to get a little bit wet when you have it on the ground, and they are moving in the direction of the wind. So any field goal is going to be affected by that.
.25 seconds to go. 3rd and 4 for Texas Tech. Smith trying to run it himself. Bryson Jackson there right away. Nowhere to go. Clock running. We're at 13 seconds. This is 4th down. This is the ball game, folks. Wide open over the middle. But they don't have any timeouts. Clock stops quickly at 4.
Go clock it.
And they're going to have a shot.
Should be about a 52, 53-yarder from here. And we know he has the leg for it.
And remember, Garbe against Iowa State.
With the cast on the arm, too. Watch the celebration as he's running off the field.
A 62-yard game-winning field goal.
Oh, still got that cast on.
A 53-yard attempt for Jonathan Garbe. And Baylor icing him with the timeout. We have a flag down.
Prior to the play clock expiring, Baylor calls their 2nd timeout of the half.
So Baylor gets the timeout. A 53-yard attempt. And we've talked about the last couple of games between these two as they have gone down to the wire. Last year, Texas Tech won on a last-minute field goal, 24-23. Baylor won in 2019 in double overtime, 33-30. And we are staring a 3-point ball game in the face with a field goal attempt here from Texas Tech to potentially tie things up.
Perfect on the season. 13 for 13. Already kicked a 62-yarder. Don't forget, 53, but also into the wind in wet conditions. This is drama, my man.
Indeed it is. Jonathan Garbe. No good. Baylor keeps their Big 12 championship hopes alive with their 10th win of the season here in Waco. Going down to the wire as the fireworks are going off, shaking the broadcast booth here at McLean Stadium.
That one was a little bit frightening, partner.
That was close.
What a great win. Great effort, though, from Sonny Cumbie and that Texas Tech Raider football team. Just can't say enough good things about the way that Sonny Cumbie was able to keep this team together through such a difficult, tumultuous year. I'm sure it's part of the reason that Joey McGuire made the decision to retain him as offensive coordinator. But from 2-7 to now being in a position potentially to make it to the Big 12 championship, there's a reason that people talk about Dave Aranda the way that they do.
What a game. What a valiant comeback attempt by Texas Tech. Baylor staves it off and holds on for their 10th victory of the year to keep their Big 12 championship hopes alive.
Plenty of leg on that one, too. That man's going to be making a lot of kicks throughout his career. We're going to be seeing him kicking on Sundays at some point, too.
Second half, there were 54 plays run for Baylor. Dominated the time of possession. 27-24 the final. For Robert Smith, I'm Dan Hellie. Thank you to all of our good folks in the truck. Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend. Let's send it to Mike Hill and the guys in the studio.
A good one there. We got some Big Ten action.